What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Chat and Chew. I am your host, Gerald, and today I have a very special guest, my first guest ever. Let me give y'all a little rundown about this pretty lady sitting next to me real quick before we get into some things. Not only first is she a mother, she's a beauty and fashion mogul. She was also the model winner for season 12 of Project Runway. But you know what? Only she can tell y'all her story and who she really is. So I'm going to let her introduce herself while I get this together.
Well, my name is Rayuanna Aleyce. I'm Project Runway season 12 winning model. I was also the last winning model. And I've done like a long list of things as far as music videos. And I was always the leading lady, so I always kept it fashion. I also do a lot of work in the community. I work with troubled teenagers that are in the juvenile system. And Rayuanna Aleyce Day is dedicated to the youth, and we empower them through music, art, fashion, culture, and sports. And I don't know. I'm not my biggest cheerleader, but that's just a little, synopsis of who I am, but that's not it.
We're going to answer some questions, y'all. Y'all know we're going to get all in her business today.
Oh,
but
Lord.
also, we got a little mukbang, and we are trying the Be Loves Smackalicious mild sauce. This is her first time trying it. Y'all know I had it before, but I added my own little extra flavor to it today.
Oh, yeah.
So we gonna really get into some things. So let's taste this first, and then we gonna ask you some questions. Yeah, I want to know some stuff. I ain't gonna get too deep in your business, though.
Get in it. I'm like an open book anyway, so I'm very transparent.
Right.
And honestly, people don't really even take me serious when I'm being real, because they be like, "What? Did you just say that?" And I'm like, yeah.
She speaks her mind, y'all.
I do.
Listen.
And I don't know how not to.
We have phone calls, and I might call her to vent, and she'll be like, "Listen, son, let me tell you something." I'll be like, "Well, that ain't what I wanted to hear."
Oh my God, it's so spicy, bitch.
Hot.
Yeah.
Y'all, I told her it wasn't that hot, but I had my own little.
And I told him that I did not want to sweat on camera.
I got her, y'all. So let me ask you a question. Project Runway, how was that? What type of feeling did that give you? Because you were young when you did it.
Bitch, I'm still young.
Well, you know what I mean.
Don't come for the dolly, no partying. Do not come for the dolly, no partying. So, excuse me. Oh, this is hot. Oh, give me your water. So, okay, I don't think this is good, like talking on camera with hot food in my mouth.
Listen, y'all, she's a lady. On her.
Jason, hi. Yeah, hi, it's a party. Oh my gosh. So, Project Runway season 12 was like one of the most highlights of my career. And when I started out modeling, which when I was 17, I got scouted by like all the top modeling agencies in New York. I started my career in Miami. So I got scouted by all the top agencies in New York, and then I came to New York, and like nobody wanted to sign me. And I was just like, they thought I was like too pretty, because with high fashion or whatever, they want like more interesting looks. And I'm also Asian and Black, so a lot of people don't know how to market me. That's why I'm happy that the industry is changing now. But at the same time, when I got on Project Runway, I just left my agency before because they cheated me out of like thousands of dollars. And I started, when I used to go on castings, I would have relationships with the casting directors, and they loved my work ethic, and they loved my look and my personality more than anything. So they would contact me directly to book me for certain jobs. So I got onto Project Runway, and I only wanted to make it past the first couple episodes, because who really wants to be the first one going home? Because if your designer doesn't make it, you get cut. But they also give you an opportunity to get chosen, so you had to get chose. So my designer, which is Dom Streeter, she's from Philadelphia. She specializes in like designs and textiles, so she would create her own patterns. That's what separated her from the group. And at the time, there were people that probably sewn better and did other things, but she was really different. And I believe she was the first Black winning female designer that won. And we worked together the whole freaking season.
Yeah, y'all all season.
Yeah, I was really loyal to her. She was loyal to me. And the first episode, like my whole outfit was falling apart, and nobody knew that. and I was walking down, and I was like, I had to hold the dress a certain way. And that's the thing with modeling, like you have to bring your designer's vision to life. So, you know, it was just really challenging, and like there were times where like my feet bled. Like I literally.
Well, they're pretty now.
Don't come for me. But it was like the best experience of my life. And like Heidi Klum, she is just a doll. Like, you know, you meet famous people, and some people were like bitches, but she was so welcoming to all the girls, and you know, it was really dope.
So now you mentioned earlier that you did a few videos, and one of my favorite videos you did was a Lloyd video.
Really?
Oh my God, that was my favorite video. The Lloyd video when you kept pausing.
But it was, I actually stopped. It wasn't even me, like they didn't freeze it. I had to stay still. We shot the scene so many times. So Clay West, he was on Zone 4 label, which is with Polo Down and Carrie Hilson. But we met during Fashion Week, and he was just, his energy was so bubbly. He loved me, and like we worked together. And he was like, "Hey, I got this. I wanna book you for this shoot or whatever." And I was like, "Which one?" So it was Lloyd, leading lady. And like growing up, like Lloyd was like a crush, like you know. So to work with him, it was really cool. So in the video, I was actually kind of like being myself, but I was so nervous.
You can't tell.
You can't tell because like with film, you can't touch it up.
Right.
So with photos, you can touch it up, and like, but video, you have to make it work. So it's like. I do shit scared. You know what I mean? And like when it comes out, I'm like, oh my God, that's me. So it's really cool because I'm not like that pretty girl that's like, oh, I'm so pretty. You know, I grew up with all boys. I have a transsexual brother that's a sister.
Shout out to Sing. And
she basically raised me. She taught me how to be a woman. You know, I was like a tomboy, but like she showed me I'm living her dream. She just gave me the head start, but I made it into my own. Right. Which I'm really thankful for her.
Right. Shout out to her.
Yes.
So, one of the things that when I first met you that I admired, because you know, a lot of the times you meet pretty girls who, you know, they come from our communities, but they make it out and they do their thing. They become like, that ain't where I'm from. That ain't who I am. And when I found out that you had your foundation, and you know that you even had your own day in your city where you're from, and you go back every year and you give back and you do so much, like you said, just helping teens and things like that. You know, what mind state do you have to be able to go back home after you've achieved so much worldwide? What mind state do you have to go home and be like, you know what? I'm still gonna give back. I'm still gonna be that same round-the-way girl and still take all the things I learned and give them back to the people who, you know, because there's a lot of little girls in Atlantic City. I lived in Atlantic City briefly, and there's a lot of little girls, young women, even women who still look up to you, who you know, they idolize you.
I'm really thankful for that. Sometimes I feel like I don't deserve it, but at the same time, when I started my career, everybody told me that I was pretty. I never looked at myself like that because I like come from like a really rough neighborhood, and also I was like abused growing up. So I was really scared to even speak at times. Like I didn't talk for a really long time. So I hated to feel afraid of anything. So the feeling of being scared or shy, like I just wanted to break that because it was so uncomfortable for me.
Right.
And the things that I knew I wanted to say, I wasn't able to articulate it because of how I grew up and the trauma and everything. So modeling kind of made me confident into stepping out, but it was just, I never wanted to be, and then we grew up in Atlantic cities where it's sex, drugs, and murder. So you see girls that were my age that were getting sold and sex trafficking and things. Wow. Like we was exposed to so much in Atlantic City, which a lot of people don't know. And when I tell people I'm from Atlantic City, they're like, what? People really live there? So it was really a really scary situation because I left when I was 17 and I never returned home. And when I finally went back, the mayor of Atlantic City that was leaving office, which is Mayor Langford, we lived on the same street when I lived with my uncle, and he saw me from a young girl. And then at the time, Mayor Marty Smalls, he's the mayor now. Shout out to Marty Smalls. He actually was my mentor, basically. Like a lot of people don't know, like my mother sent me to. He's dying. He's dying. Okay, you gotta cut that.
I got a hot pepper in my mouth. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, jalapenos and everything, guys. Look at this.
I'm sorry, y'all.
I told him not to make it hot.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it was just like a bittersweet moment for me because, like, when I left Atlantic City, you know, we grew up on the beach or whatever like that. But when I went to Miami and I saw palm trees and just a different life, I was like, I'm gonna die here.
Right.
You know, and I just kept going. It wasn't about me wanting to be famous, and because that was never the type of person I was.
Right.
So me working and nobody ever checked on me. Like, I was a young girl in a big city, and you know, so Atlantic City, it's like they don't support each other like the major cities like Philadelphia, New York, and like you know, you rep your set. And so everybody like always put bad things on my name because of the family I grew into. So that's why I go by Rayuanna Aleyce, because I didn't want people to judge me off of my family, you know. And I actually made a way for myself, and I fell in love with it. And I don't like to start something and not complete it. So that's why I've always never gave up on any of my dreams.
Right.
So when I went down and they said they wanted to honor me, I just went down thinking they were going to give me like an award, like congratulations on winning Project Runway season 12. But then they were like, you know, we proclaim December 23rd in the city of Atlantic City, Rayuanna Aleyce Day. Listen. I gagged because I'm like, Martin Luther King has his own day. Like, I don't deserve my own day.
Right.
Like, what am I supposed to do? But this has always been something that was dear to me because when I was younger, a lot of people don't know. What excited my interest in modeling is that my mother got me locked up in the juvenile system. Not that I was a bad kid. I was a straight A student. I just had problems at home because of my mom, her situation or whatever. And she put me in juvie. So I was there for like 3 months and I was like, I'm not going home. I don't want to go back home to her, you know. And it was crazy at the time. It was so embarrassing. But when I got out, I had to go to like a program to get rehabilitated to go out to the real world. So that's where I met Marty Small. He went to college with my uncle. He's a chef, my Uncle General. And he saw my journey. So I had to do some things in the community to like, you know, do the right thing. And I entered the Miss Atlantic City pageant. So I had a bracelet on my leg while I went, and my mom, the one that sent me to juvie, actually designed the bracelet because it was a Flappers theme. And I won, and we had to say a poem, like we had to show our talent, and that right there, it just was so positive, and I loved it.
Right.
And I just didn't want to be that pretty girl around the way. I wanted to use what people thought of me because I didn't think of that of myself.
Right.
And I wanted to turn it positive. So all the negatives I turned to a positive, but even still to this day, you know, it was really touchy for me to be honored my own day. So I'm working on building it up until I want it.
And getting it where it needs to be, right?
Yeah.
So, another question. Well, this isn't even a question. This is like a statement for me. You accomplished so many things. You did so many things. You're still doing so many things, still accomplishing so many things. And then a few years ago, you had your biggest accomplishment, Sonny.
Yeah, I did.
My little brother, Sanam. I look at like your Instagram stories and when you go live, and it's such a beautiful thing because that little boy loves his mom.
I'm not really good at live. Like the time when Instagram started, like it was just a personal page. It was never a model page.
Right.
So I'm like, you know, it's like a photo album. So now I'm like transitioning it into a business, but it's like really hard because you see people and you're like, oh, you have these followers, but people don't really support. And it's weird to me because I'm like, at the time when I started modeling it was just shut up and model. So like nobody cared about what you know or whatever. You kind of had to play dumb a little bit, like just be young. And you know, I played that role for so long, but now like I'm like coming out of my shell in terms of communicating with people that I don't even know. So I test myself every day with it, but I'm still not great at it.
Right. Listen, none of us. But yeah, so as I was saying, like he loves his mom. Like you'll see him and he'll be kissing his mom's face and he'll be looking at his mom and like what excitement do you get knowing that, you know, this little person that you're supposed to give all this love to gives it all back to you? Like, 'cause he gives it back.
He does, but it's crazy because my story is really, really deep and intricate. And my thing is that situation was an abusive situation. He was my first, and he shut my eye when I was pregnant with my son. I was a couple weeks, so I wasn't going to have him. And I was at the height of my career. So it was really challenging for me to even say that I was gonna have my son, because I'm like, career, like, but I didn't want to be like super accomplished, and I didn't have something of my own that would be really selfish. You know what I mean? And I never wanted kids because of the way I grew up. I'm like, we're born in sin. Like, this is not life. Like, I was just like that deep girl that was like, no, I'm not bringing a baby into this world because I want to live his life for him. And I wanted a freaking girl. So I cried when I found out it was a boy because of the situation I was in. And I was like, I don't want a boy. Like, you know, I think I was just the hormones and everything. And people thought I was crazy. And then, because I never had a great relationship with my mom. So I wanted a girl to kind of like have that relationship, because I didn't understand like girls that are like, even sisterhood. I don't have that. Like, the first thing to my sister is my transsexual brother.
Right.
So, you know, she can't relate on certain situations because she is who she is already. So I wanted a girl. And then God don't give you what you want. He gives you what you need. And everything that I ever was missing from my mom, or broken relationships or whatever, I have that in one person. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have had kids earlier and got it out of the way, because the child probably, they would have been helping me watch the baby. And I could have been twirling and like handling my career like I'm supposed to. But it set me down for a really long time. I thought I was going to bounce back or whatever. And my baby was huge. I was depressed during my pregnancy, so I ate everything I want. And then me modeling, I used to have to watch everything I ate. So taste everything, eat nothing type of vibes. So at the end of the day, really, so me being pregnant, I got to eat everything I wanted, but I OD'd. And I went from 128 to like 183. So it was life changing, but my son is like the best thing that ever happened to me.
That's a good thing. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
What do you think is the biggest misconception people have of you? I was going to say models or, you know, girls in the industry, but I want to say of you.
I think the biggest misconception that people have of me is that they view me of how my transsexual brother is, and we're not the same.
Y'all look alike, that's it.
We look so much alike, and she taught me so much. But at the same time, I'm more like reserved, and I'm friendly. I want to have fun, but she made me more lively. You understand? And I'm happy. But at the same time, like, people get confused, like, oh, she's not that nice, or she thinks she's better. But I'm so hood, like, literally right from around the way.
Yeah.
You know, and we joke about it, but like, people, and then some people think I don't even speak English when they look at my pictures. I'm like, yeah, hi, I know. Yeah, hi, okay. But, you know, I grew up, my father is Asian, and my mother is black, so we had a really Asian culture. And honestly, it's so similar because everything we did was around food. And my dad was a chef. So it was,
and you chef it up real good too.
But I was never that girl. I never knew you to know how to cook. I was like, what? I want to eat steak and lobster all day. Why do I need to learn how to cook? Child, it was a mess. But I grew.
So I think that we kind of touched on, you know, that side of you. So now in chat and shoe form, you know, I want to get in your business a little bit. Not too much. Like you know.
Give me what you got.
But nah. So, is there any special person in your life? Is there any, you know, romantical things going on, or we just out here being city girl? Or we just city girling it?
Listen, I'm a city girl. I know some city girls that's real city girls.
Yeah, listen.
Okay? But at the end of the day, I've been like the type of person, like, you can't get my milk and cookies, like, because of the things that I've been exposed to. So I would never, ever just be about somebody else's bag. Like, you know, I've been very independent from young. I've been really good with saving. And I've been spoiled. And not because, like, that's how I grew up, because we were poor growing up. But when people spoil you to get something out of you, I just kind of, you have to basically shed blood to impress me.
Yeah.
So I'm not easily convinced or anything like that. But right now, my love life is complicated. You know, I have people that love me, adore me. Like, you know, I'm a great person, you know. But at the same time, I think that people grow at different times. And I'm healed from my past and all the trauma and stuff, like, literally. And coming into relationships is real tricky because you think that a man has it all together and they do the right things in the beginning and you feel safe with them, guy or girl. And you know, you find out things about them, like, and then you realize that they're on a healing journey. So me being healed, if I feel like that I'm emotionally beat down, it's like, because you have emotional abuse, you have physical abuse, you have financial abuse, sexual abuse, all those different things, you know, that play a really major role in women. And we, like, I don't have daddy issues.
Right.
You understand? Like, my father was there, my uncles raised me, like, all men raised me. That's why I think I have the mind frame that I have. I had mommy issues, you understand? And I'm so happy, like, we're in a better space now.
Right.
But guys and girls, because I cross roads, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, well, if a dog loved me at this point, I'm gonna love that dog crazy. But it's just that people, it's hard. Relationships are really hard. I just want to be with somebody that adores the fuck out of me, and I want to be with somebody that lets me be myself. You know, so we'll see what happens. You know, dating scene, I'm not really into, but because I've been in relationships since I was like 16. But it's hard because, like, we go in and out. I'm friends with, you know, all my exes because, you know, my energy is pure. No, it's like I'm a good person. They know they fucked up, you know? So a person know that they messed up. They wasn't ready for you at the time. So it's like, we pray for things that we want, but when God gives it to us, are we really ready for it? You understand?
Don't get nothing on you.
Yeah, so sometimes we're not ready for the type of greatness or the type of success or that dream relationship or that new car we want, because if God gives it to you and you lose everything because you're so overwhelmed, He want to really prepare you for it. And that's what I learned. Going through so many different things, I was just like, why is I'm going through this? And then I realized that God is making me stronger for a greater purpose. And I think that's just my life goal, is to just dedicate it to the juvenile system and the kids that are damaged. Because when you're at an age at 14, that's a really, really, you know, detrimental time where you could be really great or you could be really, really messed up. You know, so I want to get them to a point and just shape them and mold them into being leaders and all of that. But, you know, I don't do what I do. I never did what I did for recognition. I did what I did because of what I came from. I came from poverty. So, you know, it's emotional, and I'm still figuring it out. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing it scared, actually.
Well, I can definitely say that you are a great example for men, women, everywhere. Like, you know, a lot of times we use where we're from or what we've been through as a crutch to why we're not doing what we should be doing.
Exactly.
And just, you know, you said, you know, you did it because you wanted better for yourself.
I wanted better.
And we have to learn to want better for ourselves.
Yes.
Because if we don't, we'll be stuck in those neighborhoods and those places where we really don't want to be or really don't belong. Because there's a whole big world out here just waiting. And there's parts of this world that may want you or may want that, and you may have to offer it, but how will you know if you don't take that chance? So I thank you for that. So, you know, in closing, what's next for Rayuanna and Aleyce? What can we look forward to? What can we let the people know? Like, when we gonna see you again for this or that? Well, I know I'm gonna see you again, but when they gonna get to see you again?
Well, I've been really trying to get used to the whole internet thing and being more on camera because, like, physical contact with people, like, it's draining, you know? I feel like my next journey is being one of the top fashion and beauty moguls of our time. And Mobile Beauty Bar is my brand, and it's a place where beauty meets fashion. So before I do the physical beauty bar, I'm working on the online beauty bar, just so it could be a place where you could get your beauty products and tips and everything on beauty and fashion. And just really, really dedicating myself to making Rayuanna Aleyce Day an actual day and on autopilot where they're celebrating me years after I'm gone. You know what I mean? Because this is really not for me. It's a huge honor to have my own day in my city, but it's like, what are you doing? Right. You know, and I'm super excited for this new journey because, you know, it's my calling. You know, it's in my lap right now, but I can't fail. And I'm just going hard and full throttle.
That's what I like to hear. So, I want to thank you so much for having you on the show.
Thank you for having
It was
me.
rough getting her here from New York, y'all, but she's here. I'm so selfish. I want to keep her to myself and not with y'all.
Everybody want to keep me in the Barbie box. Like,
listen,
they're like, you're just cute. Sit there.
And also after this video, y'all, stay tuned to, I'm gonna give y'all a couple sneak peek pictures of her, little modeling pictures, little professional pictures, maybe a video or two, couple links where you can find her and, keep in touch and, all of those good things. So I thank you so much.
I thank you. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you so much. I'm proud of you too.
And we're going places.
Listen,
baby. I'm
we
here for you.
are out here.
Never scared. Yeah.
Period.
I love you.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We out.
And I hope my story motivates and inspires you. I can't tell my story in one breath. That's why I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just make a series about it because it's too much to put in one.
Who you gonna get to play you?
I'm gonna play me.
It'll be alright. You gonna play you?
Yeah, yeah, But at the end of the day,
because I can play you too.
Bitch. I don't like that bitch. I don't see her. Okay, but yeah, I just hope that my story kind of like let you guys know a little bit about me. I mean, I will be here and doing more episodes with him, so we can kind of get this thing on the road. So, chat and chill.